Welcome back to another video, guys. Today we'll be reviewing the 2026 USA Today mock draft of Nate Davis, who I've never heard of until now. So, hey, I guess the more you know. No offense to him, but I'm just saying I've never reviewed any of his mock drafts. I've never really reviewed a USA Today mock draft to begin with. So, Nate Davis I obviously haven't heard of because I don't usually go on the site. So, there's a lot of interesting areas here. Max Crosby trade should mean help for Fernando Mendoza. This is one of the things I was kind of talking about last video, where it was there's a lot of different people that don't have their mock drops out because the Max Crosby trade happened on a Friday night and people take Saturday and Sunday off. So there's a lot of people just sitting there okay, I guess we'll get back to work on Monday, which is perfectly fine. That's if it's your off day, that's perfectly fine. So this guy posted this at 5:56 a.m. Eastern time. It was 2 a.m. for me. I don't think I was up then. I'm not even gonna lie. So, let's review the mock draft. The Raiders take Mendoza. It's a pretty easy pick. I think Mendoza has, again, crazy good frame. He's produced a lot. I don't think he's as strong as I would say Joe Burrow in 2020, but he does have the upside as some of these other guys do, and I think he'll be a great leader-driven quarterback in this NFL cycle, and just everything in general. I think he'll just be really surefire at a bunch of things. He's not really bad at anything. There's a little bit concern with his mobility, but I think he's not going to be obviously I never say he's not going to be like Lamar Jackson, where he's going to be super duper fast or anything. But it does make sense why people are taking him, because again, he's #1 quarterback easily. I 100% can agree with that. I think he's top 5 on my big board. Or maybe 6. He's probably 6, maybe 5. He's just really good, and there's a reason why he's not there's people not really justifying this pick anymore, because he's just that good. Everyone just knows he's just that good. He's that guy. So at one point you have to be okay, yeah, so we should just do it, right? I mean, it's pretty simple. That's pretty much the easy pick for me today, and it's not really much to talk about. The Jets take David Bailey. So this is another interesting area to talk about. Let me zoom in a little bit. It's another interesting area to talk about. David Bailey has fallen on some people's boards. I think that Arvell Reese makes a little more sense to me because, again, 3-4 system. David Bailey would still be an edge in that system. He'd be part of the 3 versus Reese being part of the 4, because 3 linemen and 4 linebackers, and then vice versa if it's 4-3. But in my opinion, I think it makes more sense for the Jets to take Arvell Reese, because I feel it would make more sense schematically. I feel David Bailey has more concerns off the field and on the field as well. He's not really a 3-down lineman. You can also say the same about Arvell Reese, but I think Arvell Reese has shown more flashes of that than David Bailey has. And he moves a little bit better for David Bailey being so much more quicker, but Arvell Reese has so much better bend and strength that I'm just kind of concerned with how David Bailey will match up against some of these stronger guys like Penei Sewell or Trent Williams, or even Andrew Thomas. These strong left tackles or right tackles, it's gonna be interesting how he matches up against them, because they're so powerful, they have so long arms, and if David Bailey just can't get right by them, then what's the point? That's just a waste of a pick. Versus Arvell Reese, who has the frame to do that, and he would work a little better. But I think that it would make a little more sense for me. But yeah, I don't know. Cardinals take Arvell Reese. This is another very, very high pick, profile pick. People are seeing a bunch of tackle. I think Arvell Reese is definitely in play, though. I think Arvell Reese would honestly make a really good pairing for this team. It would be a bunch of kind of a do-it-all type of guy, where he would really be playing off ball as well as on ball too. Which would be also really, really crucial for this team that lacks versatility. But I can definitely see that too. I think that would definitely make sense for them to take him here. I know people are saying Francis Maiano here, and I can agree with that too. I always go Francis Maiano because I think that makes the most sense for me, because they need a tackle. But I can definitely see Arvell Reese here. I think Arvell Reese would work in the scheme, but I feel like Shula would probably want a little more LaFleur would probably want a little more offensive juice, because he's an offensive-minded coach. So I think that would make a little more sense to me. But I think you can definitely see Arvell Reese gone here. Titans take Jeremiah Love. I've seen a lot of people do this. I mocked this yesterday for my 1-round mock draft. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think Cam Ward can really use some help, and this team doesn't have a proven wide receiver one, but you're not going to take Carlton Tate number 4 overall. I think that's kind of stopped doing that now, and I think that makes a little more sense because I don't think Carlton Tate is a wide receiver one, like a top 4 or top 5 wide receiver one. I think he's like more of a really, really high wide receiver 2 that can maybe play wide receiver 1 if you need him to, but he's not going to probably play full time. That's the interesting area about this. I think that makes a little more sense for the Titans to go Jeremiah Love because that room is not competitive. Tyjae Spears, I mean, it's really not like that competitive, and Tony Pollard, like it would be a good 1-2 punch. It really would, and Ward would really enjoy taking Love because he's also pretty good at the passing game too, and he can go leak out and possibly even bail you out sometimes with his speed and agility. So that would make a lot of sense for this team, and if you can maybe get your offensive line under check, I think Love would have a field day with that, especially with Brasillo. I love Brasillo, who went from the Giants, who made the Giants to above average unit. Now is going to the Titans, who I can think you can make an above average unit there as well. Giants take Sonny Styles out of Ohio State. I can definitely see that happening too. I think Sonny Styles just ran super good, 4.46 as this guy brought it up, and 43.5 inch leap. That's really crazy to me. And yeah, he's really tall. He's just like, he moves so fluid for his size. It's just so interesting to see like how these guys like how they just continue to amaze me. Because this guy, I wouldn't expect him to run a 4.46. I would probably expect him to run a 4.58. But he really just ran the brakes off of that vertical, or off of that 40-yard dash, and honestly it was just so good. And John Harbaugh loves his linebackers, and you love Roquan Smith, and you probably use him in a similar role to Roquan Smith. But this guy's younger. In my opinion, he has a higher floor than Roquan, or higher ceiling than Roquan Smith. I think this would be a perfect pairing for the Giants, who need a linebacker too, with Bobby Okereke getting cut, as well as Micah McFadden being a free agent, which I presume you would bring back. But you don't know yet. So I think Sonny Styles is a perfect fit for a team that needs a lot of tackling help as well, because the run defense was terrible, and Sonny Styles was elite in the run stopping department. So why don't you take your guy here and take Sonny Styles here? I think that makes a lot of sense. It's honestly like a match made in heaven for this team. Him or Downs, but people have had Downs falling because of his degenerative ACL. I don't think that makes that much of a difference, but he just wasn't a top 5 pick to me before. I had him mocked in some top 5 for Downs. I had him mocked in some top 5 areas. I just think that Sonny Styles makes a little more sense for this team, and then it kind of gives you reassurance after the combine that Sonny Styles will probably be the better pick here. The Browns take Francis Mauigoa. I think this would 100% be the easiest pick if Mauigoa falls. It's just such an easy pick. They just have a bunch of guys in free agency. I know they acquired Tytus Howard, but you're going to need another guy on the other side. I think you probably move Tytus Howard to left and then Mauigoa to right. But if Mauigoa falls, why not take Mauigoa? Like, it's just an easy pick. One of the better guards, or one of the better tackles. People are questioning if he's going to move into guard. I think he would probably suffice as a tackle. I think a tackle would work probably a little bit better. So I think we're going to go tackle here. A little more strength, and this team needs a lot of offensive line depth. So you get a stud, and you also get your team need. The Commanders take Caleb Downs out of Ohio State. I can also see this too. Yeah, I definitely can see that as well. He can literally play anything. He'll probably be playing a box safety role primarily. I think he can definitely play like the middle area, like people say center field. I 100% can see that too. But yeah, he would be a really good contrast to this team that really needs some more youth in this area. I think Bobby Wagner has been really bad. And I know if Sonny Styles falls, I think the Commanders should take Sonny Styles. But if Sonny Styles goes to the Giants, because that's what a lot of people are mocking, I feel like the Giants would, or I feel like the Commanders would take Downs too, because you need a safety area anyways for this run-stopping defense. I know people are concerned about his degenerative ACL. I really wouldn't worry about it, because again, it hasn't really proven to be a deal breaker for him. Like, he hasn't stopped producing. Like, I don't know why people are so concerned. I just think that why don't you take your guy here when you can, and take the all-pro type talent on the field. Like, I don't know. I just think that makes a little more sense. Saints take Carlton Tate. Sorry, it was a little spoiler. I was like, it's already been there for too long by the time I realized. So I was like, okay, might as well keep it. But the Saints take Carlton Tate out of Ohio State. I can 100% see this too. I think Carlton Tate will be amazing for this team. Eventually, will be a wide receiver 2 for this team, because Chris Olave would still be the wide receiver 1. The problem is Chris Olave has a bunch of injury history, so it's honestly kind of like a surefire pick where, like, okay, if Chris Olave goes down, because he seems to get a concussion like every single year, if Chris Olave goes down, you go Carlton Tate here, and he brings a good element of contrast, good physical route runner. He kind of is like Chris Olave, but I don't know. I feel like that Shuck would enjoy another wide receiver here. I can never see him going edge with Ruben Bain still available, but Carlton Tate's not the worst idea in the world. The Chiefs go Mansour Delane out of LSU. I think that's another easy pick too. I think Mansour Delane kind of fits the mold that Spags likes, which is the smaller type corners that play bigger than it is. And I know a lot of people like this a lot too. I really like it. I think that makes a lot of sense because this team has generally gravitated towards these type of corners. Because if you can be a menace and a pest on the ball, they don't care what your size is. Obviously, the bigger size, the better. But honestly, he's not that bad enough to the point where you're like, okay, well, his size is going to hold him back. He's not like Avon Terrell size. No offense to Avon Terrell. He's smaller, but Mansour Delane has a little bit concern with his arm length, but I think just the production has been so good. And he's locked down a bunch of corners in the SEC and a bunch of these good wide receivers. At one point, you have to be like, okay, yeah, maybe we just take the guy here, and you're gonna need a corner because a bunch of guys are hitting free agency. Jalen Watson in specific, and obviously you got rid of McDuffie, so you're gonna need another All-Pro type level corner in this room. So taking Mansour Delane here is not the worst idea in the world. Bengals take Ruben Bain Jr. I think it's another pretty surefire pick for me too. If Downs doesn't fall, I think they go Bain if he falls. Bain does have shorter arms. I know his arm measurements were not good at the combine or wherever he got measured. But with Hendrickson leaving, you're gonna need a defensive end to kind of have the same production. I think like Trey Hendrickson will probably was probably like Ruben Bain, where I think they produce a lot, and I feel like Bain can probably produce in place of Trey Hendrickson. I know they gravitated towards these more physically like beasted guys, like obviously Shamar Stewart, but I don't know. I feel like Ruben Bain would make the most sense because he already has that 3-down lineman potential. I know Keldrick Folk would, but I don't know. I just feel like Keldrick Folk, there's not much like upside, or there's upside for the passing game, but there's not much like impact on the passing game immediately to the point where you're like, okay, I think we'll take Keldrick Folk over Ruben Bain Jr. I think that makes a little sense if I say so. Like you would, Ruben Bain is less raw than Keldrick Folk is, and I think that makes a little more sense in this aspect. And honestly, this makes the most sense. Yeah, I don't know. I just think this makes the most sense for the Bengals if he falls. Dolphins take Spencer Fano. This is another interesting pick as well. John Eric Sullivan is, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like Hafley would like a corner or a. I've also said Dylan Thielman's play. I think I would love Dylan Thielman here. But Spencer Fano wouldn't be the worst idea because you move him to guard or tackle. I don't have him listed as a tackle. I have him listed as a guard because his arm length is super short. So I know he has him listed as a right tackle to go over Austin Jackson. I don't think that's the case. I think he would probably be playing into guard because he did play most of his reps at guard in the combine, like did some guard drills and also some center drills. And teams really value these arm lengths, like that's why Monroe Freeling is getting like so super high buzz now because he measured like a fucking athletic specimen, which he is. But there is like areas where you're like, okay, maybe you don't take a guard this highly, maybe you take someone else on the defensive side of the ball especially if you have a defensive minded coach. So that's gonna be an interesting way to look at it. But I think I can definitely see guard going here. I can also see Vega Ione going here because I remember I had him mocked yesterday at my mock draft. So a lot of interesting areas to go here. Cowboys take Jamal McCoy. I think this can also happen too. I think I would love Dylan Thielman here too. I'm just super high on him. I think you can definitely go. You can definitely start going from this 10 onward range. But Jamal McCoy has issues with his ACL, and I know people really don't like the corner room in Dallas, myself included. But I don't know. I feel like Dylan Thielman make a little more sense. You can maybe take a corner with less injury history or less injury concern in here. But Jamal McCoy wouldn't be a bad pick. You get your number one lockdown corner, and I don't think Deron Bland is a lockdown corner anyways. So not the worst idea in the world. The Rams take Denzel Boston out of Washington. So Denzel Boston is a little bit of a prototypical type X. I remember seeing that on a mock draft like description. I was like, yeah, that makes 100% sense. He's more of a raw talent, and there's not elite separation. And you're probably not going to be playing, like, you can play him in the slot, but I don't know. You probably play Nakua in the slot and play him on the Z, and then probably play Devontae on the X. And eventually he'll be taking over that Devontae Adams type role later once he's gone. But I think McCollum's a better contrast to Denzel Boston, or even Jordan Tyson, who has the little bit of an injury history. But the Rams are kind of in win now mode, and Jordan Tyson will be that win now kind of acquisition where you get, because obviously there's concern with the injury history, but you also get like the best wide receiver in terms of talent wise in this class. Because the only reason why he's falling is because he's injured all the time. So that's the whole reason, and it's a bunch of like different injuries. The problem is Denzel Boston, like for how many like for what wide receivers are on the board right now, I feel like there's a little bit of a reach, and I think teams honestly would probably pass if he's relying too much on athleticism. You've seen what they've done with JSN, Amon-Ra St. Brown, like these different teams, these different organizations. They're not big like type of guys. They're always the slot type of guys. And you also saw this like a couple years ago with Cooper Kupp. He's not the biggest guy in the world. He's not like DK Metcalf. He's not like Drake London, where he's the biggest guy in the world. No offense to those guys, but they work a lot. And Cooper Kupp had one of the best seasons of a wide receiver we've ever seen. And he wasn't the biggest guy on the field. He was just super smart with the football. You know the exact areas to go. He studied film. A trustworthy hands. Like, I don't know. I just think that made a little more sense for the Rams. I think the Rams have gravitated towards that area anyways, because again, Puka Nacua isn't that type of guy who's the gigantic X type of guy. He's kind of like JSN, I think, like a bigger JSN. Like, I don't know, it just like makes a little more sense for the Rams, especially how they gravitate towards different types of areas. I don't think this would make sense for the Rams to go to. The Raiders take Makai Lemon. I've also said this yesterday. I don't think the Raiders should take a wide receiver in the rounds in their first round pick, because you already have Zach Betch, who would probably be doing the wide receiver role anyways, for like Makai Lemon would do. And why would you just waste that pick regardless? I think the GM would have something to say about that. Like, at one point it'd be like, okay, yeah, you have Jack Betch, so like, why not you keep Jack Betch and get it like a similar guy like Makai Lemon? I don't know, like that makes a lot of sense. That makes no sense. It comes to like a redundant pick, and there's bigger needs on this team, like a defensive interior. So you can go Caleb Banks, or you can go Peter Woods, or you can go like Lee Hunter or K McDonald. Like, there's a lot different areas you can go here than Makai Lemon for this team. And I know I didn't bring him up yesterday, but Dante Thornton Jr. or Dante Thornton, I don't know, I think it's Dante Thornton. His like tape and how well he's done. Like, you're not gonna just kick him to the curb. Again, like another number one type guy, or like a pick from last year. Like, at one point to be like, okay, like this wide receiver room is getting too crowded. Why don't we just take something different when a team, or like a player that we need much more defensive interior, defensive line. Now that Crosby's going to need a defensive edge, linebacker maybe. You basically need everything beside, at this point, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and some offensive line pieces. The entire defensive unit needs a rework, and I think that makes a little more sense for this team. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers take Kenyon Sadiq. I've also liked this too. Kenyon Sadiq tested like a fucking freak. He was a fucking freak in the combine. He's just so good, and he's just really, I don't know, I just always had him as a round one type receiver or talent. And I don't know why people always had him like off the round 2 area, like before the combine. I don't know. When I saw this, I was like, yeah, like that's my guy. Like, I love Kenyon Sadiq. Like that's what I like remember when I was watching him perform, and he just looks so athletically explosive. And Kayvon sitting for agency, why not take your guy here? The Jets take Dylan Thiemann from Oregon. 2 Oregon players go back to back. Interesting, but yeah, I can definitely see this going too. I think Dylan Thiemann would be perfect for this team as well, because they need a safety. And not the worst idea in the world. Andre Cisco will not get the job done. I think you definitely go with Dylan Thiemann here, and Aaron Glenn will get 2 crazy good weapons on the defense. Lions go Marlon Freeling. I think you should definitely rush. Like, you should run to the podium if Marlon Freeling's available. Taylor Decker just retired, so taking Marlon Freeling here to eventually be your franchise left tackle was not the worst idea in the world. And this team really had some struggles on the offensive line. I think Marlon Freeling would be a great change of pace, and Marlon Freeling's built in a fucking lab. He's fucking freaky, okay? This guy's crazy. Like, at one point you have to be like, okay, why not just take the lab built specimen when we can, versus a guy like someone like Blake Miller, who isn't like built in a lab necessarily. He's good, he's not built in a lab base, and that might be a little bit more interesting to see how which teams, organizations decide to or which players the organizations decide to eventually target, because Marlon Freeling has a lot of concern with how NFL ready he is. He is really good, don't get me wrong, he's really good, but I don't think he's that NFL ready yet. But I think he will be really good if he develops his technique and eventually learns from Penei Sewell, one of the best. So, not the worst idea in the world. The Vikings take Caleb Banks out of Florida. I think I like this too. I've had this mock before. Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen are expected to be gone, so it's not the worst idea in the world. And maybe you can take a safety later in the round, or maybe trade back up and get Anthony Warren later in the early second or later first. So I wouldn't hate that idea if the Vikings decide to go this area. Yeah, not the worst idea in the world. Panthers take Peter Woods. Will be a great compliment to Derek Brown. I've kind of went towards this area too recently. I think Peter Woods would be a great option to whatever team ends up getting him, because I think Peter Woods is a top 5, maybe top 10 talent in this draft class. The only reason why his numbers weren't as good as his freshman season is because people game plan around him. Like, that's literally, like, it's as simple as that. I don't think he's lost anything. I think he's actually like gained muscle. I think he's looked more fit recently. Like, I don't know. I just think he will be a great NFL player, because the only reason is because people won't game plan around him as much, and even if they do, they have to game plan around Derek Brown too. So it's gonna be like like it's gonna be really hard. I know teams game plan a bunch like every different like game changers, but at one point into like there's just gonna be too many game changers on that defensive front. So it'd be like, okay, maybe if you do that, it's kind of like pick your poison. Who will burn you? Like who has the least potential of burning you? Like it's still burn you, but like who has the least potential? Like that's how the teams are gonna think with the Panthers if they get Peter Woods here. I would love this pick a lot for them. The Cowboys take TJ Parker out of Clemson. This is honestly like a Jerry Jones type pick. I think maybe you can go with more of a speed rusher, maybe like Cassius Howell, but I don't think I don't have a day one grade on Cassius Howell. I think he's more of a day two type player, especially with his arm length. So I really love TJ Parker a lot here. I think he will be perfect for this team who needs a defensive end outside of Ezeruku, and who TJ Parker is not the greatest at everything he does, but he does have a bunch of upside as a 3-down lineman. I already think he's a 3-down lineman in my opinion, but would like to see him do pretty good in Dallas. Steelers take Jordan Tyson. I would love this pick for them too as well. I think it's a really, really solid pick for them. They get the number 2 wide receiver guy, and eventually going to build past DK Metcalf eventually when he moves on or retires or whatever. Whatever happens to DK Metcalf later, you would 100% like to see Jordan Tyson here. I would 100% say that's in play. And I know there's problems with his injury history, but that'll have him falling a lot, so I can definitely see him going here. But wouldn't hate to see Jordan Tyson going to the Steelers. Chargers take Vega Ione out of Penn State. 100% like this too. I think Vega would be awesome for this team who had a terrible guard duo. So take him here. It's not the easiest pick or it's not the hardest pick in the world. It's not the most flashy pick in the world, but it's a fucking pick. And some of these picks are better than others. So this pick will be awesome for the Chargers if they find a way to get their guard situation in place. Eagles take Akeem Mesidor. So this is obviously if Jalen Phillips does not resign, but there's rumors that Jalen Phillips is gonna like sign a 20+ million annually deal. I'm not gonna comment on that until that actually happens. But if this is in this case, Akeem Mesidor goes if Jalen Phillips does not re-sign with the Eagles, and I can definitely see this happening too. Akeem Mesidor does have the injury history, and he's fucking older shit. He's 24, be 25 when the season starts. But Harry Roseman just loves these like freaks of nature. It's just the problem is, how good will he be against the run, and how good will he be as a contrast to some of these other guys on this team? I think this would be a kind of an Eagles type pick though, because I think the Eagles would love taking Akeem Mesidor here because again, it's instant production, and this guy's good. And the Eagles team is not like in a rebuilding or a couple pieces away from winning mode like the Panthers would or the Bucks would. Like it's a lot of like interesting areas, but if like the Eagles can get instant production out of Akeem Mesidor, you wouldn't really be worrying about the age at that point. Like you're gonna be like, oh, we already have like 4 more years of this guy and he's already in his prime. Like there's a lot of interesting moving pieces there, but I can definitely see that happening. Browns take Omar Cooper Jr. out of Indiana. I think this is another pretty good pick too. I really like Omar Cooper Jr. a lot. I think I have a round 1 grade on him. I think he will be great for whatever team ends up selecting him. He can literally line up anywhere. XC. He has great or slot. He has great contact balance, surefire hands, clutch ability. Honestly, really good. Like I think he'll be under a lot of stress in this wide receiver room though, because this wide receiver core in that team is not the best. But I think again, you're going to take your guy here, and it's not the worst idea in the world. The Bears take Emmanuel McNeil-Warren out of Toledo. I've had this mocked yesterday, and 100% agree too. You're going to need a safety, and this guy is just not, he's not an athletic freak, but he's so smart. He's just so powerful. He's so strong. Like, I just think that he'd be really good, and I think since Kevin Byard Kevin right here, it's right here, Kevin Byard and Jaquan Brisker is hitting the open market, you would really like to see Emmanuel McNeil-Warren going here for this team that needs a safety and really struggle with the run stopping ability. I think Emmanuel McNeil-Warren will help you with that run stopping identity. The Bills take Keldrick Folk out of Auburn. This isn't a terrible pick. I would prefer Jacob Rodriguez. I love Jacob Rodriguez here. I wouldn't hate this idea of Keldrick Folk. It is an edge. I could definitely see Casey Concepcion going here because he just met with the Bills. So I can definitely see him going here. But Keldrick Folk would not be the worst idea in the world because you need an edge rusher, and Joey Bosa was terrible, and he won't be returning back. So you're going to need a better locker room guy, I guess. I think Keldrick Folk will be there, apply immediate high floor upside with his run stopping ability, but also maybe some upside as his pass game ability can probably come into fruition maybe later, because his pass rushing is very he's very athleticism based. He doesn't really have a lot of technique in some of his areas, so there's a lot of moving parts there, but I think they can eventually develop him into a guy that can maybe do that. 49ers to Caleb Lomu. He'll probably be playing guard or being a swing tackle or something. Maybe moving to guard full time after Trent Williams retires. But definitely think I can see him going here because he can develop. He's gigantic and he'd be really good. He has pretty good frame for a tackle, but he also has pretty average to below average arms. So that's gonna be interesting how that plays out. But wouldn't mind that at all. I think the 49ers would take the guy here. Another easy pick. Texans take Blake Miller after trading Tyus Howard. Yeah, that's not the worst idea in the world. I would think Miller would immediately step in and probably be that tackle one for them because you're going to need that guy here, left side, blind side blocker, and that it was abysmal. Their offensive line was abysmal last year, so I think taking another surefire guy here is not the worst idea in the world. The Rams take Maxi Iheanacho of Arizona State. Yep, I can also agree with this too. I think since they released Juwan Taylor, that would not be the worst idea in the world. And you're going to need an athletic freak on that team. And honestly, I think Maxi Iheanacho would be pretty good for whatever the Chiefs need in a rebuilding, not a rebuilding team, but a post-ACL tear Mahomes era. And I think that will be pretty solid for this team that needs that tackle of the future. Broncos take Casey Conception out of Texas A&M. It's not the worst idea in the world either. I think I think Casey Conception has crazy good. I don't even say elite short burst area. I think he has a really long burst speed as well. I think he'll be awesome contrast to this team for Courtland Sutton, who is a big body type receiver. But I feel like people are underrating his ability to get off the line and just how well he moves and so fluid he moves. I think I definitely had him a round one type guy. I have him higher than Denzel Boston. I don't know why he has Denzel Boston going over some of these guys like Jordan Tyson, Omar Cooper Jr., or Casey Concepcion. But I really loved Casey Concepcion's. The only problem is his hands, but it's technique based. People say it's because if his hands are like this or it's like this or something. Like when you're supposed to catch, it's supposed to be like this, but he's catching like this. 100% technique based. You can definitely fix that. That's just some bad habits. Oops. Yeah, so it's 100% bad habits. So that's going to be a interesting area to see where how these teams develop him. But I think this team needs a wide receiver one outside of this Courtland Sutton led core. I think taking him here is not the worst thing in the world. The Pats, they take Caden Proctor out of Alabama. Another raw type player. Probably move him to guard. I think that would make a little more sense. I can definitely see him going wide receiver here too. The problem is Denzel Boston throws off this entire fucking mock draft, so I would say Denzel Boston's in play, get the prototypical X wide receiver, but not the worst idea in the world. Yeah, so he can maybe develop under Morgan Moses and play guard for a little bit, but have some right tackle swing ability, but then eventually move to right tackle after Moses eventually leaves. Not the worst idea in the world. I think that this team would appreciate another guard because Will Campbell is not moving into guard as well because of his arm length. So it's an interesting area to talk about, but I think Caden Proctor is definitely in play with how raw and how well teams would like to develop him. Jadarian Price goes to the Seahawks. I think this might make sense if they end up seeing Kenneth Walker walk, which is looking a little likely because teams really like Kenneth Walker. But I feel like this team has a little more holes, mainly in the corner area, secondary area. Would like a safety here, maybe in the later rounds, possibly, but definitely would like a corner here, maybe Brandon Cisse, Avion Terrell, who have not gone yet. And Jadarian Price didn't really wow us in the combine, so I don't really see a world where he would be this high. But a lot of people would seem to like it. I don't know. I just don't think it would be working as well as some people would like to talk about. Also, maybe Casey Conception's here because Shaheed is looking like he might hit free agency. So, yeah. Anyways, that's it. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what you guys think about this mock draft. I didn't hate it. I've seen worse, but yeah. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys in the next video.